Hello and welcome to Free Advice Friday. My name is Keri Barnum for New Shelves Books, and we are here every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about publishing, book marketing, and the business of being an author. You're welcome to join us any Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern simply by visiting newshelves.com/FAF. And you can also watch our replay. So if you can't join us live, you're welcome to email in those questions to info@newshelves.com. And then we answer them live. And you can catch the replay over on YouTube, which is simply youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. So head over there, subscribe so you can watch the replays. So as I said earlier, we have quite a few questions that were emailed in. So we're just going to jump in with a few of those this week. The first question I want to cover was Patty had a question about going to a conference when you don't know anybody, when you're maybe a little bit more of an introvert, or you're not super comfortable in crowds and you're going to a conference. What are the types of things you can do to connect with people and also just to feel more comfortable? So I highly recommend that if you are going to a conference, check and see if that conference has a Facebook group or if they have a Facebook page. Go join it, go follow it. Chances are people are already in there talking about going. They may even ask what genre you write in. So it can be a great way to start to get to know people online. And as we know, I mean, Free Advice Friday is a great example of this, is even though, I haven't met in person many of the people who join us every Friday, I'm so excited to see them when I see them at conferences or in person and vice versa. So building those relationships online can really be helpful. But also, call out, does anyone know and someone who's going to the SCBWI conference? Do you have friends going? Do you live in the area? Any recommendations? So I think that kind of thing can certainly help because then you kind of have people that you're looking forward to seeing. And if you simply don't have connections before you go, I highly, highly recommend that you introduce yourself. Tell people, what you write. And I know this is stepping out for some people. And so this is kind of in two parts. If you are someone who is extroverted, if you are a friendly person. So, well, I'm kind of one of those who I extrovert really, really hard. And then when I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to my house and work quietly for 2 weeks. But I'm very extroverted at conferences. So I make a point of talking to people online. I don't sit, I know this is maybe not a popular opinion, but I don't sit with friends typically. I might once or twice, but I don't sit with friends if there are tables or there's snacks or coffee or meals. I don't typically sit with friends. I will go to a table and usually there's open spaces and I find a table with an empty spot and I simply say, hey, can I sit here? And then I introduce myself. And so I think as extroverts, we can kind of do that common, ground, just introducing ourselves. You very quickly get a vibe if people want to talk to you or not. So you may end up sitting there kind of quietly, but at least you've introduced yourself. You put yourself out there and been friendly. Um, excuse me. And I have found some of my best conversations this way simply by, you know, being friendly so that by the time you leave a conference, you know people. And also, um, as someone who maybe is a little bit more introverted, I would suggest that if someone does start talking to you, be open to it. You don't have to chat with them or become best friends with them, but don't be afraid of them. They're mostly nice people. If they're writers and at a conference, there's a common goal there. So trying to connect online before you go and actually being a part of their communities, either by email or by Facebook group or page or something like that, and being excited about that. Also, if you're in any big writers groups and you're going to a big conference, put a question out there in those big groups. Hey, anyone attending this conference? I'd love to get to know some people before we go. So that can be helpful as well. And then again, it's okay to make new friends. If that's not your thing, it's fine. But if it is and you're extroverted, remember to give people space. I know sometimes when we extrovert hard, we're a bit much for people, but also, again, you don't have to go with people and leave with only knowing those people. These conferences are amazing for networking. So even if it's kind of going to someone one-on-one or chatting in a line, don't be afraid to kind of make new friends and have a soft opener. Have something. I sometimes will, I always comment on people's shirts if they have a bookish shirt or something like that, or I recognize it because it's from a show I like or something. I am always that person who's like, I love your shirt. And then, it takes off from there. But so I think those are just some really quick, helpful tips of how you can connect with people at conferences, because no one wants to feel alone or like a loner. And you'd be surprised if you say hi to someone in a line later. They're the people when you're kind of standing there looking alone. They're going to be the people who are like, oh, hi, come over, sit with us. So a couple of tips there. I think it's amazing that you're going, even if it's outside of your comfort zone. And I think the online conferences and things can be really great. And I will say that they were fantastic while everything was happening with COVID and we were really stuck at home. However, there is something about an in-person conference, the energy and just meeting people face to face that is amazing. As I said, I just got back from the Hampton Roads Writers Conference, which I was gone for most of last week. And it was just a fantastic time, fantastic people. So if you get the chance to go to an in-person conference, highly, highly recommend it. You always come home so motivated, or at least I do, tired, but motivated. So I think that's fantastic. Let's see. Vicky had a question about written word media and if they were a legitimate company. So here's the thing. Absolutely. Written word media is actually the parent company for Bargain Booksy and Free Booksy. So we use them all the time. They're discount promotion newsletter kind of site. So they have discount newsletters for ebooks. They have newsletters where they put out free ebooks known as Free Booksy. They have some other things. They do, like, you can stack certain things when you do a promo with them. You can stack Facebook ads, which is fine if you're really like not into Facebook ads. It can be helpful. I prefer to run them myself, but I think they give you a boost if that's what you're into. Um, They've also started like a list building program. It's something Surge, I forget, but it's something Surge where you put your book in and essentially they give away a Kindle with everyone's books on the Kindle. Excuse me. With everyone's books on the Kindle. So then they kind of ask everyone to promote. They promote, and the idea is that to join this giveaway for the chance to win a Kindle, everyone has to join lists. That's how they get an entry. So they have those programs, very well respected company there. So, let's see. All right. BookBub question while we're on ads. Had a question from someone about whether or not BookBub is effective for advertising. And I think we covered this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but for BookBub on advertising on BookBub, I don't personally love their ads unless you're doing it for a purpose. If you're running BookBub ads because you want to drive also bots on Amazon, or you want to train the algorithms to put your book with another comp book, it's great for that. It's not great for conversion and ROI in the sense of just sales in money. So I prefer BookBub featured deals and pitching for those, which of course you have to pitch. And if it's accepted, then you can pay them and you get listed in their discount newsletter and promoted to thousands of readers, which usually results in a lot of sales for your ebook, which has to be discounted. But their actual ads, even their own stats, they publish their own stats saying that anything that's promoting a book that's higher than $2.99, like there's no conversion. It gets better at $1.99 and then free. Like it gets better and better because that's what their audience is discount ebooks. But even then, I don't think the ROI on the cost versus return just on sales is worth it. It really is very much more it's more of doing those also bots, the algorithms. When you want to train your sales outlet sometimes to do certain things, it can be helpful. But otherwise, I don't necessarily invest in BookBub ads for most things. News is actually a little bit old now that we've been out for a little while, but the Wall Street Journal is no longer publishing their bestseller list. They did actually announce that, I believe it was on November 4th. So they're no longer doing their bestseller list, which is sad to see one go. You know that the USA Today list kind of left for about 6 months, and now it's back, but it's kind of not giving us all the results that we had hoped for and that it was before. And now the Wall Street Journal list is gone. It's essentially they are not putting the time and the employee power behind it to continue running it. So we're sad to see that list go. I think it was running about 14 years. So we're always sad to see that go. All right. Question here from David. And this question is about a priced barcode. So you guys know, been around for a little while. I am adamant that if you would like to sell your book to bookstores or retail stores, you need a price specific barcode. This is not opinion. This is and so here's why, because Barnes and Noble, it's literally required. It says it in the part where they say what you need to submit a book to them. A price specific barcode is right on there. Same for Books A Million. Most big retail stores require a price specific barcode, and many indie bookstores do as well. So we've established we need a price specific barcode. Now, David's question is, here. We live in Australia, not the US. Is this still true that we need a price specific barcode? And how do we get a price specific barcode for multiple countries? Australia, UK, US, Canada, because we might sell in all of those places. And this is a little bit tricky because when you're doing print on demand, you don't have the option of uploading a different cover file with a different barcode for different outlets. You get one upload, one barcode. So if you're using Ingram Spark and uploading your book to get an Ingram wholesale to sell to bookstores, you can't have Australia pricing, UK, US, and Canada. You can have a price specific barcode for exactly one of those. So my suggestion is when you're in this case is, where are you going to be pitching your book? Because we know retail stores, unless you're, with a big publisher or going viral, retail stores typically are not just going to stumble upon your book. So if you live in Australia and you know you're going to be pitching your book to retail stores in Australia, my recommendation is that you do pricing for Australia. Same if you live in the US, UK, Canada. It's because that's where your home market is and that's where you're pitching. Now, if you live in Australia, but your book's set in the US, it's really more US based and that's where you're going to be doing your marketing or that's where your publisher is. Well, then I'd recommend that your pricing is for the US. So it's one of those things with print on demand that you have to identify where you will be marketing to and what serves you best. Now, of course, if you have a offset print run, what will often happen is that your offset print run can have a priced barcode for, let's say, US, but then it can also on the top list the pricing for Canada, Australia, UK, and sometimes you'll even see where there's actually a different barcode for different countries. So it's not at all unusual to see with big publishers, especially doing offset print, where there's a US version that has US pricing, maybe Canadian listed in the top of the barcode, not like integrated, but on top of it. And then the UK would have a different barcode because they actually printed a different print run for UK distribution. But for those who are using Ingram Spark, print on demand options, or you simply don't have the funds to do multiple offset print orders, totally fine. Pick the market that you are going to be marketing the most to and go with that. All right, question here. An Amazon ads question. I have a series of 3 picture books. Would it be okay to create one ad for all 3 books instead of one ad per book? I only run ads to the softcover books. Yeah, so if you have picture books, and we've talked about this a little bit before, I recommend with picture books specifically, is it in a series? If it's in a series, you typically want to promote the first book in the series. So you're only going to run ads to that first book in series. Unless, and in case you actually have a book that's more popular in that series than the first book. So let's say the third book is the most popular, it has the most Amazon reviews, the most traction. In that case, you may actually choose to promote the third book instead of the first book, or you may decide to promote all three. It depends on your sales data and what's moving and what's not. So typically we go for the first book in the series, but if it is something that doesn't have to be read in order, or if it's something like a children's book series and one is more popular, you may go to the most popular um, book to run an ad. Now, when you're running Amazon ads, there are sponsored product ads, and sponsored product ads allow you to promote one book, one title per ad. You can do multiple formats. So you could do ebook and paperback, or you could just do paperback, but it's one title for a sponsored product ad. Now, if you are doing a sponsored brand ad, so a sponsored brand ad is where you have to have at least three titles to create a brand. So if you have three picture books in a series, you could do a sponsored brand ad. These are the ads that when they show up, it actually has a picture of the author and then it's got three books in a row. So you're promoting all three of your books at one time. And then it can lead to the series page and to individual books. So you can run a sponsored brand ad, and sometimes that makes sense with a series or children's books. The things to remember with a sponsored brand ad is that it usually takes a higher bid to win. So when setting up a sponsored product ad for one title, we try to keep unless you're really getting good conversion, we try to keep our clicks, our bid per click 50 cents or under. The lower we can get, the better. But 50 cents or under is what we try for. But if you are doing a sponsored brand ad where you've got all three listed, it's not unusual to have to spend 75 cents to a dollar or more per click in order to actually win that bid and win that spot. So these ads typically will cost more. So you really have to watch and make sure that the conversion is there, that the profit is there. Because what you don't want to do is be paying more for these ads to get in front of people, but then you're not making the money on it, which is why typically I recommend running a sponsored product ad to the first book in series, because the idea is that your loss leader. You're going to spend money to market that book. You may not even make a profit. Hopefully you break even on your ads versus sales for book one. But then the idea is we're hoping that you then make your profit on book two, three, four, five, six, seven, and so on and so forth. So these are the things you need to consider. You can try both, do some testing. I'm a big fan of you have to test and see what works. To just give blanket advice, I can give you general idea, but your books and your marketing plans are very specific to you. So you may need to try different things and try them and see which one gets you the best results. So it's just as important to try the ads is reading the data. How many clicks until you get an order? What's your conversion? If someone buys book one, are they likely to buy books two and book three? And all of that is in your ad and sales data. And you need a hefty bit of data. You need a month or more of data to really be able to pull that, in my opinion, and to pull it effectively. So those are kind of my basic tips for getting started with ads and when you might want to use sponsored product versus the sponsored brand. Yes. Do you have information on KDP's beta test of audiobooks using AI voice? Wondered what the time frame might be for a rollout and pricing. So we don't know, Margie. It isn't beta testing right now. They're announcing it. I mean, they're just now announcing it. It's fairly new. Not surprised. They're actually falling behind. Apple was doing this months ago, and Apple has already got some AI narrated books out on their platform. So we're not surprised that KDP is doing this. Um, Now, how it's going to work, we simply don't know. And they probably don't even know. So beta testing will roll out first. Many times that's just a free product. They put it out. Will it cost later? We don't know. So as far as how long testing will take, I will say that KDP's beta testing for other things will often last anywhere from 3 months to a year. So it depends on how well testing goes. It depends on ease of use. Do people know how to use it? Are people happy with the quality? Does it sell? All sorts of different things. So we really don't know how long it will be running for. I guarantee you that we're hearing about it. So it's already been out there, it's already being tested. So it's not brand new. I can guarantee you. So we just don't know, but it'll be coming soon and we'll see how it works out. Um, I know I've said here before, I've gone onto Apple and listened to their AI narrated books, and they're not bad. I'm sorry, but they're not bad. Now, it's not the same as having a narrator. Like I'm listening to an audiobook right now, and the narrators are like spot on. And they're so good. It's like watching TV. And I wouldn't say that an AI narrated book is like that. It's got some emotion, but it's not perfect. Sometimes it was going to a male character's voice and it stayed the same from a female narrator. So it was kind of still high pitched. But it's really not terrible. So we don't know how long it'll take. I'll keep you guys updated as I hear anything because I'm also interested. But we know some beta testing, and when we know more, we'll let you know. Let's see. Caroline saying, I have an Apple Audio, but I'm not sure how to link to it. I'm not sure what you mean, Caroline. Are you saying you have an Apple Audio book or that you had Apple did an AI conversion for your book? I'd need a little bit more details to be able to figure that one out or give advice on it. Okay, so you had Apple did a AI audiobook version of your book. So the AI version of an Apple book at the moment can only really sell on Apple. So that means that if you were trying to promote that, you would need to be using your social media, your newsletter, your website really to promote that it's available and that it's up because it's not available. Not everywhere is taking AI books at the moment. So I think this is kind of interesting and funny is that Apple has their AI audiobooks that they've been selling, but ACX, or I'm sorry, Audible has as of yet not accepted any AI versions of audiobooks on Audible for sale. So, of course, they were waiting for KDP to roll out with something before they allow them for sale on their platform. I don't know if once that happens, they could still say, hey, it's my playground. I want to do what I want. The only AI audiobooks allowed on Audible are from KDP or from ACX, and we're not going to do anything we're not going to let other people's AI narrated audiobooks on our platform. We simply don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out. All right. Let me. Yes, a computer voice is still AI. Computer voice is still AI. All right. Let me see. Oops. All right. The next question we had was from Laura. Excuse me. Oh, I see a question in the comment. I'm behind on AI. Do you have a YouTube course on that? I do not. AI is a huge thing. Now, Caroline, we did have Jay Jacobson on Free Advice Friday. Gosh, last month? I don't know. Time's flying. I think it was last month we had Jay Jacobson on Free Advice Friday to talk about AI. So you can go to YouTube and look for that replay where we talk about that. But AI just covers so much across the spectrum, not only in our daily lives, but also in publishing. So I don't have anything specific to that as it kind of is, in different areas there. But that YouTube replay with Jay would be a great place to start. All right. Question here from Laura about, is there a way for an author or publisher to promote a book to the company app Beanstack? Beanstack is a company and app that really focuses on children's products, children's books. And so whenever someone comes to me saying, can I promote on this app? Can I promote on this website? That kind of thing. I recommend two things. Number one, go directly to the website, go down to the footer and see if they have something that says advertise on the website. So this one in particular, let me actually see if I can share it. Give me 1 second. I'll show you what I mean. Beans. Wasn't planning on going live, but hey, why not, right? Give me 1 minute here. Excuse me, you guys. I'm so sorry. I keep coughing. Let's see. All right, let me go live. So when someone asks me, and this is just one example, it's not just this website. When someone asks me, can I promote my books on Duolingo? Can I advertise here or there? I always say, go to their website. Typically, of course, you can look through all of these things, but my trick is go all the way down to the bottom. Here we go. Look in their footer. Many times if they offer advertising, it will actually be right here in their footing. So like in the resources or the about section, it will actually say advertising. This one, I don't see that here. So they may or may not have advertising available. And it really just depends on the place. But so if it's not here, go to the contact area and see if it's available here. So get in touch. Sales, client support. So this one is actually if you wanted to buy Beanstack or Badge books. That's not quite what we're looking for. Need something else? Reach out. I would email them. I would email this email address right here. I would go to them and say, are there any advertising opportunities within your app or within your platform that we could discuss? And they'll say yes or no, depending on whatever they're doing. Absolutely fine. The other thing I would do is how can you offer content to them or be a part of their content rather than paying for ads? So in that case, I'm just going to search through their website here. Solutions. Let's see. Gain reading data and insights. Like this is just kind of selling it to you. About us. Story, resources. Oh, here on their resources, they have a blog. So, and a podcast. This is money, you guys. So I would be going here to their blog. I'd be looking at their blog and seeing if they offer any type of opportunity to guest blog. Do you have something that you could offer in blog form that would help their audience, but also get you seen on their website? That's one of the first places I'd be going. So look at their, their insights in their blogs, how reading changes your perspective. Look here and see if they have any guest blogging. Again, if you don't find it, ask them an email. Do you accept guest blogs? The other thing that I saw here, where was this? It was under resources. I saw their podcast. I'd be going to their podcast. Do they take author interviews? Is there a way you can pitch yourself as a collaboration for one of their podcasts? Let's see. The co-founder hosts conversations that dive into authors and reading enthusiasts' personal journeys and insights into motivating young people to read. They joined conversations, also known as interviews, with authors about insights into motivating young people to read. So what I'd be doing is I'd be going to their podcast, listening through a couple of episodes, or at least parts of a couple of episodes, and then I would be pitching myself as a guest. I would love to be in conversation with Jordan. My book, blah, 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 is about this. And I have been on a mission to motivate young people to read doing XYZ. So you literally want to speak to their mission, to their purpose, and tell them why you'd be a great fit. You may get it, you may not. However, I will say that this right here would get you more exposure, more trusted exposure than any paid ad will. So I would be starting with the free media opportunities that may cost you a little bit of time, but no money if you have that time. And then you can also email them and ask about advertising opportunities. So if it were me, that's where I would start. And anytime, again, I've had people who have books on languages and they want to advertise on Duolingo. I've had people who have cookbooks and they want to advertise on Better Homes and Gardens, whatever it is. Always look for the media placements if you can, blogs, podcasts. How can you contribute and get your name on there? And then also find their advertising, and going to their website and going down to the bottom is, in my opinion, the quickest and easiest way to do that. So that's what I recommend on that one. All right. Caroline had a question. I've gone with, so as far as placement and distribution, I want to use draft to digital, or do I? I want to use Ingram Spark for distribution, and I want to use Amazon, of course. What templates are needed? How do I find all these things? So first, you do need to decide on your book distribution. You need to decide where and how you'd like to distribute your book. If you have a print book, I personally highly, highly recommend that you go straight to KDP with your own ISBN. Don't take a free one. You know how I feel about those. Get your own ISBN, go to KDP, and upload your print books to KDP for direct print on demand access to your Amazon consumers. Then take the same book, the same ISBN, and go to Ingram Spark and upload your book to Ingram Spark to get into the Ingram wholesale market, which also includes 40,000 online retailers, barnesandnoble.com, bookshop.org, and also it's getting your book into Ingram wholesale, which is where retailers and libraries do buy their books from. So for your print book, that's what I recommend. Draft to Digital does also offer print on demand. However, it's really important to note, Draft to Digital, when you upload your book to Draft to Digital for print on demand, they're literally taking your book and uploading it to their Ingram Spark account. Ingram Spark prints these books. I think it's hilarious when people say, well, I didn't really like Ingram Spark's printing, but I really love Draft to Digital's printing. You guys, it is Ingram Sparks printing. It is the same thing. They are a middleman in this case. Now, some people like it because they feel like Draft to Digital is easier to navigate or that their customer service is better. Fair point. If that is what works for you, that's fine. But they are a middleman. You have less control. You make slightly less money and all the shebang. So I recommend you go straight to Ingram Spark. For your ebook, you want to decide, are you going to be exclusive to Amazon through Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited, where your ebook can only be available on Amazon? Or do you want to go wide? Do you want your ebook to be available to libraries through Overdrive, to Baker and Taylor for libraries for your ebook, for Barnes and Noble for Nook and Kobo and iBooks? You have to decide which one. If you're going Kindle Unlimited because that makes sense for you and your marketing plan, well, then you simply upload your ebook to KDP. Bam, bam, done. If you would like your ebook to go wide, then you need to upload to KDP and draft to digital. So you need to do both. As far as files are, each website has specifics on their website for what you need. So I will tell you that your print interior is the same for Ingram Spark, KDP, and Draft to Digital. It's all the same. That doesn't change. But your cover file does. So you need to look up the KDP cover file template for your trim size. And then you need to look up the KDP cover file template for Ingram Spark in your trim size. They are a different template slightly. So if you try to use the same template, your spine's probably going to be off. It's not going to quite work. So your cover files will be different for your print book. Your ebook is typically going to be the same for both Kindle and Draft to Digital if you're using Draft to Digital for your ebook. And your cover file for that one is just a JPEG of the front cover. So that's pretty, it's pretty much the same. But you do have to get those different print cover books. Otherwise, you should be set to go. If you're hesitating on how to upload a print book or even an ebook to KDP, or if you're hesitating how to upload to Ingram Spark, if you go to the YouTube channel, if you go to youtube.com/New Shelves Books, search KDP. I have a step-by-step video of how to upload a book to KDP. Search Ingram Spark. There's a step-by-step video on how to upload to Ingram Spark. I've got some stuff on Draft to Digital. There's a lot there that can kind of be a resource and walk you through the steps of uploading. I know we have a lot of visual learners. I am a visual learner, so I can read the steps to something and I'm like, great, I got it. And then I go to do it and I'm like, nope, don't got it. It doesn't look familiar. Nothing's making sense in my head. So if that's the case, having a video that literally walks you through each step in each screen can be helpful, and that is available on the New Shelves YouTube channel. Let's see. My publisher is sending me my ebook digital files as I requested. I plan to list it for sale on my own website. Are there any reasons why that may not be suggested or safe? So Heather, the only thing I would say is that if your book is on Kindle Unlimited, it cannot be listed for sale on your own website. Otherwise, if your ebook is available wide and it's not exclusive to Amazon, there's no reason, in my opinion, that you can't list direct. In fact, selling direct can be a great idea because that means you are going to capture your reader's email address and your contact information in that sale, and then you can market to them in the future. I will say BookFunnel makes it really easy to sell direct if that's something you're interested in or need. But really, it's just up to you. And if you're not exclusive with Amazon, I don't see any downside to offering your ebook directly from your website. Let's see. Got that one answered. Here we go. Question from Karen. And this is a good, I mean, they're all good questions, but this is kind of a new one, and I have a soapbox to go with it. And you know how I love that. So this question here comes from Karen, and Karen had a question. I reached out to my book formatter about adding an Amazon bestseller seal to the cover of my book. She indicated that was a bad idea in terms of publicity. What are your thoughts? So my thoughts. Here's the thing. Number one, it's actually against Amazon's terms of service to use an Amazon bestseller seal. And so they will very often reject a book that has that on the cover. They will actually reject it and they will not let you put it on their platform. So I think that's a bad idea to have an Amazon bestseller sticker. It actually can get you in a lot of trouble. How some people get around this is they will use a gold seal that just says bestseller, #1 bestseller, something like that. The problem to me is that if you are advertising yourself as a bestseller and you're going to sticker it on your book, I think that you need to be able to have somewhere online that lists your book as a #1 bestseller. And Amazon doesn't do that. Amazon, you're probably a bestseller in a category, which changes hourly. And that is not a permanent list. There's no record of it. So if someone goes, oh, you're a bestseller, where can I find it? Is there proof of that? There isn't. You may have a screenshot, but it's not listed anywhere online in a bank that you can point to. It's not a New York Times #1 bestseller where you can link to that bestseller list. It's not even Amazon's bestseller list when it's all Kindle books or all books. It's not just in category. You can't link to it. So there's a lot of distrust out there as far as calling yourself a bestseller and putting that sticker on your book. If you have made bestseller in a category, it's been cheapened, to be honest. It feels good and you should celebrate it. If you hit #1 bestseller in a category, kudos to you. You've earned it. You should be very proud. You should shout it from the rooftops and be excited. However, that is not something that typically I would say you put a sticker on your book for. And again, you can get backlash. #1, Amazon can actually come after you for it. They can refuse to take your book cover like that. And then also there are just the considerations of what it means. And may it help sell books to some people who are just looking at stickers sometimes, but I'll be honest that a lot of readers no longer really pay attention to those because they've been overused So in this case, I have to agree with your designer. To say you're a best-selling author, absolutely, you can use it in different ways, but I would not be putting a seal on my book cover for that. Me personally, you of course are your publisher. You get to make those decisions, but those are the reasons why I wouldn't, and why in this case I do agree with your cover designer, is that it can sometimes actually cheapen your book more than anything else. So I wouldn't do that. And then question number 2, my title has been added to the OCLC, which is an online catalog for librarians. Now what? So now your book is cataloged in the WorldCat system. It's cataloged for libraries, which simply means that that catalog block is made. Fantastic. Now, when you pitch your book to libraries, you can actually tell them it's already being cataloged in the OCLC, which means it's less work for them if they want to put your book in their library stacks. So it's a value added feature, meaning that they don't have to go catalog your book. We have talked about how sometimes when librarians are asked to catalog books, that they'll buy a book because they want it. They think it'll fit good in their library, and so they buy it. But then it goes to a room to get cataloged, and sometimes books will sit in there for a year or more before they get cataloged. So sometimes having uh, that cataloging already done, what happens then is they just have to look your ISBN up. They have to click a button and say, oh yeah, that's the book we're putting in the library. And then they have to tag it, and then it's ready to go on the shelves. Otherwise, your book can be sitting in a room for a year or two where it's not really doing any good. People aren't seeing it or reading it. It's not getting checked out. So that's not going to look good in the history of your book. But also, sometimes librarians will not take a book that's not cataloged in the system already, because it means they have to do that. And smaller libraries, especially, may not have a cataloging librarian. They may have to have a larger branch do it for them. Many times, a cataloging librarian will also have many other duties. And so it's just more of a hassle. So this is a value added feature you want to mention anytime you're pitching your book to libraries, that it's available in the system for easy cataloging. And that can be the tipping point of why they stock your book or not. So great move. And that's how you can use it. Let's see. Excuse me. All right. I have a lot of questions, so I'll see if I can get to the heart of those questions pretty quickly here. There's questions about media when promoting a new book. So kind of unclear about how and where to use press releases. I've heard to pitch a story idea, like maybe for an article pulled from your book, but you still need a press release in addition to the story, right? Here's the thing. I always recommend that you have a press release available. It is so easy to create a press release for yourself. I certainly, you can have someone else write it for you, but you can write your own press release and have it handy. So sometimes when pitching out to media outlets, you can do a press release, and you can use like a press release distributor where you pay them a certain amount of money. And then for that, they will push it out to a bunch of different places, create SEO. It may be picked up by local newspapers or other things. You can also send a press release directly to your local news outlets and ask them if they would be interested in rerunning that press release, an author interview, anything like that. So that is one reason. And we have talked about before, just saying my book available is not very exciting. Just saying your book is available, it's not news. But if you say local author releases a book featuring hometown or different things like that, has local interest, where you tie your book to a holiday or something that's trending as a topic or anything like that. That makes it new. So I did just drop in the chat for everyone. Over on New Shelves, we have a blog that's all about writing a press release for your book. We have a free press release template, absolutely free. It's a Word document that you can actually edit. So highly recommend you go check out that for tips on writing a press release and getting started on that. But your other ideas are bang on also. So not only offering them an easy to reprint press release, or asking if they'll review your book or do an author interview. In addition to that, offering content and pulling it from your book, especially if it's nonfiction, can be a way, again, just like I was talking about before with the blog and the podcast from, I think it was Beanstack. That idea for a newspaper, for a magazine? How can you offer content that gets you exposure and folds themes of your book in? So, for example, if you have a nonfiction book that is all about organizing, for example, we're coming up on January where people really have their resolutions. And one of them that's very common is to organize or declutter a house. Can you then take different parts from your book about decluttering, or why it's a great time to start decluttering in the new year, or how to put a plan in place for decluttering? Can you then take that idea and pitch an article where you're actually going to write it for a local paper or for Better Homes and Garden magazine or different things like that? If you have a fiction book that revolves or has something to do that could tie into a holiday, could you do a piece that really fits into that and pitch it to a news outlet or a local news or magazine, something like that? Using the themes and the topics of your book for hooks for the media is a great way to get yourself out there. Now, yes, I would say I also have a press release about my book available if you would like it. They may say, yeah, we'll just take the press release and rerun it. Absolutely fine. But if you are willing and able to write content for these places, it is a great way to be seen. And yes, Chuck, repurposing content is an easy way to expand. Using it now, I will say most news outlets want an original story, so they don't want a blog you posted 3 years ago just reprinted. Now, you can use your blog from 3 years ago, update it, change it, make it new and fresh and current, and pitch that. You can take different pieces of your book, and you can take, I have seen, depending on your book, right? But especially if you have nonfiction book, I recommend all nonfiction authors reread your book, sit down with little flags, with a not a Sharpie, a highlighter. Yes, we're going to ruin your beautiful book, but it's all for good things. So sit down with your book, highlight the main topics that you think you could expand on or that you could make into a blog or a news article. Keeping in mind, many articles, they want them to fit on a page. So many articles will end up being, it's not uncommon for them to request 250 words, 500 words, 750, or 1,000. That's what fits on a page the best. So keeping that in mind, is this short form content? Is this something you make into a bigger story? Is it newsworthy? Even if it's not like super exciting, it's not earth shattering, but it fits into the time, it fits into a pitch, or it fits into what this news outlet offers their readers. That's how you pitch it. But it's really important that you pitch it as how it helps them. Not, I would love to promote my book by writing for your blog. That's not going to go well. But if you say, I've been a follower of your blog for years, I love your content, and I think that I have something your readers would love. Would you consider running a blog on XYZ or an article on this? And doing that, fantastic. And I will say most of these places will then offer you, at the end, they'll offer you a byline. And your byline typically, many times, will have your photo. It will have your bio where you can talk about your book. And if it's an online article, then many times they will also offer you one link where you can link to your website or your book or something like that. Now, what you don't want to do, it's okay to say, when writing my book XYZ, I learned this. It's okay to talk about being an author, to slip your book in there. What you don't want to do is make it a commercial for your book. We can spot you a mile away. I cannot tell you how many times I've had people pitch me blogs for the New Shelves blog that is just a blatant ad for their book. Now, if you say, I have been using this new ad platform, I think it's really great, and I would be happy to do a case study for your blog using my book and my experience as as kind of the case study. Okay, that makes sense. But you have to make it make sense, or else you have to use you really have to offer value and take your byline for what it is, because then you can kind of leverage that up. You can use that as a way to expand your audience, because if people really love what you said about organizing, chances are by the time they get to the end and they're going to like see your name and say, oh, she wrote a book about organizing, we're going to go look it up. Will we buy it? I don't know. but it does then give you media credibility, which again, you can leverage up into different podcasts, media placements, and things like that. So when pitching to the media, yes, have a press release that's just announcing your book, but make it newsworthy and pitching content if you have time. This is very important. I've had people who pitch content because they're like, all right, I'm going to pitch content. I'm going to pitch articles. And typically you don't want to pitch the same article at the same time to multiple outlets because again, they want an exclusive. So you want like 5 or 6 ideas, and you can either pitch 5 or 6 ideas all at once to different people, give them a couple days, follow up. If they don't respond, then you go to somewhere else. Or you can have 1 or 2 ideas and you do the same thing. Just moves more slowly because not everyone's going to say yes. But I've had it happen where someone did this. They're like, well, I'm going to pitch everyone. I'm going to use the same pitch. I'm going to pitch it out to 15 people. Well, guess what happened when 5 people came back and said, yeah, we'd love to have you write that book. They wanted an exclusive though, and it was no longer an exclusive. I had to actually kind of hurt relationships with 4 people or 4 companies and outlets because too many people had wanted it. So make sure that you are kind of being smart about your pitches. The other thing is, if you commit, if you send out 5 pitches to 5 different places and they all say, yep, love it, our deadline is this time, you have to be able to meet it. So make sure that you have the time to write that article. If you're pitching something for January and they're like, okay, great, we need it December 1st, you have to deliver because it's really, again, going to hurt your relationships with these media people. It's going to hurt your reputation if you say you'll deliver it and you don't, or if you pitch it and then you don't have the time to write it. So keep these things in mind. It's okay to have different pitches and kind of let them out one at a time. And yes, I know Cheryl's talked about the Byline Bible by Susan Shapiro, which she highly recommends, and I got it on my list to check out. So that's a recommendation there. All right, everybody, it's right at 11 o'clock. So I think we're good for today. As I said in the beginning, anyone who's on the call now who wasn't then, we will be skipping next Friday. Usually we meet on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving every year, but this year I'm going to see family. And so I'm going to take the day off. I will not be here next Friday on Black Friday, but we'll be back the next Friday after. We'll be here all throughout December. So I hope you join us then. Again, every single Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I say, I cancel. I say, I'm not going to be here. And then I'm like, every single Friday, I'm here. So most Fridays, we meet here 10 a.m. Eastern, simply at newshelves.com/FAF. And so absolutely love that you're here. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Bye-bye.